Bullshit.
It's the No BS Marketing Show. I'm Dave Mastovich, CEO and founder of Massolutions, the world's only no bullshit marketing firm. I get asked a lot of questions around budgets. I get asked, how do you go about building your marketing budget? What's the amount that the marketing budget should be? Now, while I get asked that question, I also know that there's some skepticism by the person asking it, that they think that I am going to possibly try to slant it in my favor to upsell our services. And that's often sad to me because I tend to rarely sell when I'm talking to clients, and it's to the detriment of the company. And it's just because I passionately tell you what I believe, and the key word is believe, to be right based on my experience and expertise. I think we're also skeptical as buyers that we just assume that the seller, the salesperson, is pushing us to get more sales. And I think that probably does happen a lot. But then what's sad is when you run into someone who isn't doing that, that person is lumped in the box with the other people. So it creates a battle that you have to fight through when you are the person who isn't setting out to sell. I'll get off on a slight rant. It reminds me of when a good coach is treated skeptically or like shit by parents because the parents are beaten down because they've had so many shitty coaches. So then the good coaches of the world get lumped in with all the crappy ones, and parents still have bad behavior towards the good coach. The same thing's happening when you have someone who is giving you realistic and valuable advice, and you lump them in the box with that shady salesperson who is constantly looking to sell you more for their own benefit. So when I get asked about marketing budgets, I tend to say a couple of things. The first thing that I say is how to set up a marketing budget is to think about 3 areas that you're going to need to budget for. And the problem is most buyers don't know marketing well enough to realize the first 2 matter. Now, the large companies will. The UPMCs, the Highmarks, the Gateway Health, the Dick's Sporting Goods, the 84 Lumbers, the Budweisers. The larger companies will know about these 3. But the vast majority of companies in the world are small and middle-sized businesses, small and medium-sized businesses. And with small and medium-sized businesses, the vast majority of them don't understand the first 2 parts that they have to budget for. Or they have a general understanding and are being slanted by someone with an ulterior motive. The first area that you have to budget for when setting up a marketing budget is strategy. If you think you can do that yourself and internally, please go to another podcast right now. Let's let them go. All right, for those of you who have stayed, when you are looking at marketing strategy, it is not an internal thing. It's not exclusively an internal thing. And if you think it's exclusively an internal thing, again, please shut off the podcast and go continue to mire about in mediocrity as far as marketing is concerned. Strategy for a small and medium-sized business needs to be supplemented with external expertise, because I'm telling you, Mr. and Mrs. CEO of a $28 million a year company, you ain't got the marketing expertise you need. Sorry, it's true. You want to bet? I'll put 10 grand out right now. Let's just sit down. We'll both put 10 grand on the table. We'll talk and see if you have enough marketing expertise. Now that I know no one's going to take me up on that, let's keep going. So if you're that $10 billion a year company, it ain't an internal thing either. You know why? Because you got the blinders on. You know why I know that? Because I was in that position. And when I kicked ass because I realized it wasn't about me. I had external advisors. Some were flat out marketing counsel, like what we offer here through me. Some were big time firms that I worked with. But you need outside expertise, because outsiders will hear things that you don't hear. They'll see things that you don't see, and they'll bring a perspective that you don't see. So when you start to build your marketing budget, the first area you have to carve out some money for is marketing strategy. Now, you will have someone in your company. Let's take that $59 million a year in annual sales, annual revenue, top line revenue company. They will have a person with a marketing title. They probably will have inflated that title to Chief Marketing Officer or Senior Vice President of Marketing or some nonsense like that. If you're that person listening, I'm going to give you a couple seconds to shut off too, because if you aren't open to this, then just shut up and go, do something else. But if you are someone that's open to get better, continue to listen. Usually titles are inflated at those smaller companies because as those companies grew, someone that was working hard at the beginning and working hard at the middle time frame, the company kind of outgrew them. But you don't want to just discard them. You care about them. They're good people. You like them. They were here from the beginning. So you continue to give them a better title. That's a problem. Now, there's a bunch of ways around it because I have compassion. I feel the same way. I started a company. I don't want to discard someone that's been there forever, but there's going to be people at some point that the company outgrows. That doesn't mean you have to discard them. It means you have to find a way to match up their unique abilities with what they're going to work on. So if you have that person that's the Chief Marketing Officer or the Vice President of Marketing, and they have not really led much before, and they haven't led people, processes, and budget, and they haven't advocated for change and pushed for change, that person will often say, you don't need marketing strategy. I got that covered. You and me got that covered. Well, now you got two problems. You got the ego of the top person who thinks they know marketing strategy. Again, if I offended you, please shut it off, go somewhere else. And then you have the person that's maybe got an overinflated title, or maybe they're actually pretty good. But they then want to have self-preservation. So now you got two people fighting to say, I don't think we need anyone else to help us with our marketing strategy. Well, you keep doing what you're doing. My clients will keep kicking your ass left and right, up and down the street, because my clients understand that they can get a benefit from having outside expertise on the marketing strategy. If you're open-minded, write that down. First area to budget for when you're building your marketing budget is external marketing strategy. Second area that's often forgot about is marketing operations. Think of it this way. When you have a manufacturing organization, you know that you have to upgrade your equipment and so forth. Well, when you're building a marketing budget, you have to put in a marketing operations budget because your website is going to need to be upgraded, just like your manufacturing equipment needs to be upgraded. You're going to need to upgrade things that you're doing. And the second thing is you're going to need to have someone to manage the projects surrounding your marketing. We call it content logistics. There's content logistics. You don't just create content. The content person who thinks they're just going to write, I'm a writer, I'm a savant, I'm going to talk to a couple people and write, and I'm going to get in the mood and I'm going to write. No, there's content logistics, and you're doing a bunch of stuff that you maybe don't like, and it sucks, and I know it's not your unique ability, and I know we all want to focus on the things that we're really good at, but the reality of life is that's just not the case. 20% of your time is going to be spent on things that you maybe aren't great at. No, that's probably if you're doing really good. A lot of people, that might be 50% of their time. So marketing operations is this piece of the marketing function that is project management, content logistics, and replacing operational things that are outdated, just like equipment gets outdated. Your laptop gets outdated. Your iPad gets outdated. Your computer, your desktop. You have the same thing in marketing. There's all kinds of stuff in marketing that falls under marketing operations. So that's a second area. Now, both of those. Now, one is external strategy. So that's a pure line item to have an external research, external looking at trends, external looking at your messaging, external marketing strategy. So that's a bucket that people don't usually carve money out for. Then there's their marketing operations. And that's got to be the equivalent of just like your marketing team and your other marketing admin stuff. And that's part of your fixed cost. You're going to constantly be replacing marketing operations. Then there's the third piece that everybody kind of understands, but this third piece does not work with the first two. So the reason so many companies become BS marketers is they do this third piece and wonder why it stinks. They wonder why they don't get the results they want with their marketing because they think that marketing is campaigns, advertising, branding. They think that marketing is the digital lead generation. They think that marketing is videos and outdoor advertising and digital displays and branding. That stuff is important. But if you just do that and you didn't do number one, marketing strategy, and you have to budget for some external marketing strategy to combine with your internal marketing strategy. So you have to budget for marketing strategy. That strategy can include the 4, 5, 6 segmentation model, so you've drilled down to your target markets so you know who your target markets really are and really should be and how to reach and influence them. Marketing strategy can be tied to how you decide on the messaging to match up with those target markets. Marketing strategy can be talking about how you're going to reach and influence people in the direct selling capacity. So marketing strategy is the first one. You need external help to supplement your internal expertise. Then you have to budget for marketing operations, content logistics, project management, and your marketing quote-unquote equipment, like a website that might be outdated and other things. Then the third one is campaigns and advertising, which could be your digital lead generation, your branding, your video, your outdoor, your display, your digital display ads. All of that stuff is under your campaigns. If you set up a marketing budget, and if you put roughly 7 to 8% of top-line revenue for items 1 and 3, strategy, external marketing strategy, campaigns and advertising, 7 to 8% if you're a business to consumer, maybe slightly lower, around 6 to 7% if you're B2B on those two. Your marketing operations piece is put into your regular overhead, similar to your administrative support, similar to your HR and so forth. But when you're building that marketing budget, you have to have a budget line for external strategy. You have to have a budget line for campaigns and advertising. Those two end up being in that 6, 7, 8% of top line revenue. Marketing operations is a whole other thing. If you haven't put that into your regular operations, if you haven't put that into your regular administrative expenses, then you're going to have to increase that percentage of that top line that you take for marketing, because you're going to have to buy the marketing operations as well. So this is important. It's an important episode for people that want to be no BS marketers. It's important to listen to it, maybe even play it twice, because there's a lot of detail here for you. 3 things have to be budgeted for. Marketing strategy, there's internal people, but also an external review and look. Marketing operations, that should be part of your overhead. That should be just like your administrative support, HR, etc. There should be marketing operations budgeted for. And the third thing is campaigns and advertising. If you're able to budget in this way and have strategic planning around it, and then track it with your marketing ROI solution that looks at the 4 strategic marketing KPIs, then you'll be a no BS marketer, and then you'll see the marketing ROI you want, and then you'll feel like you're getting what you expected from your marketing. If you don't do these things, you won't, and you'll still be a BS marketer. Thanks for listening to the No BS Marketing Show, recorded in our studios in bold, beautiful downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions, no BS.